So one of these issues that I go back and forth on, like literally all the time, like probably more than anything, I can't come up with an answer to this, is if I would delete the internet or not. I don't remember who asked me this for the first time, but I have not stopped thinking about it since. You guys know in Paint&Talk, I want to say it was 91, a little while back, I went over just like how I would change some of these, I guess, sort of like ClearNet big social media platforms to make them better. I think I named that like how I would fix the internet or something. But like right behind that, there is sort of this idea that I constantly have of like, if I had, and I want to pose this to all of you too, comment your question down below or comment your answer down below and why. If I just handed you a big red button, right? And it was like, it just said delete the internet. You could only press it once. You can't turn it off for a little while to see if things are cooler. You can't do any of that, right? Just one button, it'll delete the internet. And not in a way where the internet goes down and all the technology just like disappears, right? Not in a way where like all the cars are gonna start crashing because, you know, the lights or whatever don't work. I don't know what happened in that one Avengers movie. It's not like that. Like it just, you're in a timeline where everything is the same level of good, but can only get, I don't know if it can only get better. I guess you just go to a timeline where there never was any internet. Or maybe you just like, I don't know exactly how the time travel aspect of it would work, but you're erasing the internet. Nobody notices. Nobody, like you, the second you press the button, it'll disappear. You'll forget the internet ever even existed, right? And you get to go to an alternate world where there was never any internet. Would you press that button? This is something I go back and forth on all the time because I think, and this is something I've spoken about before in some of these Paint Talks, it's really easy to look around at the world around us and look at all the problems and go like, the internet is not helping any of this stuff, right? Yesterday we were just talking about truth and this idea of truth and how there's no more truth, right? A big part of that we didn't talk about yesterday, misinformation on the internet. Like there's a ton of it. I am a unfortunate perpetuator of it myself in these Paint Talks. Like I have gotten things wrong before, just rambling and talking. Obviously, I'm a lot less important than some of these people that are really spreading very damaging misinformation, right? Like there's so many issues like that. Misinformation's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. It's a big one people point to, but like the whole world feels like it's gotten drastically scarier and people are losing empathy and all these issues that might be connected to the internet. I think there's a serious case that maybe we'll explore another Paint Talk where it's like, maybe the problem isn't the internet. You know, maybe all these issues that you think are bad because of the internet, or rather that I think are bad because of the internet, I can't speak for you guys. Like maybe I'd press that button and then be like, man, people are still losing some empathy. There's still a ton of misinformation. They just buy billboards now instead, you know? Like I think there's a serious case to be made for that. I don't want to go down that road though, right? Because I think that's kind of an impossible road to go down and just involves bringing up a bunch of other things that are also contributing to it, right? However, I do want to ask the question of would I press this button? Because some days I seriously am like, yes, I would. It feels like everything, especially the areas of like that I like, were so much better before the internet. And culture is one of the huge examples of that. Like I feel like, you know, before the internet, culture was more happening around you in the real world, and it still is to an extent, especially like in where I am in New York, I could probably find more of it than if I were in like Kansas, right? But it does feel in a large part like many of these institutions, if it saved money, chose to move on to the internet in a lot of ways, you know? And overall, people are just like outside less. Social media is also, there's this Bo Burnham thing he says, I think I've talked about this in a Paint Talk before, where Bo Burnham has this thing where he's like, the internet and like kind of like the world we live in has this way of just speeding up everything. Like if you look at like fast food, right, like it makes more money to go faster with food, and like just the world around us has a tendency to speed things up. That's kind of the natural instinct of, I don't know, like what would you, society, I guess? Is it like the economy? I don't know. It's the natural instinct of the way things are around us is to make them faster and stronger and more efficient, maybe not stronger, I don't know. You know what I'm saying. And he basically says like social interaction probably wasn't one of these things we should have sped up. Like things are probably better when social interaction is you know, you kind of speed maybe the laundry machine up and some technology around you. You speed the trains up so you have more time to socially interact in the same way. And I think that's a really great point, you know, the streamlining of social interaction into like likes, comments, DMs, text messages, all these things is probably not quite as valuable. I know there are friendships that I've had that have ended just because like I could only really communicate with those people right in person, you know? And it was like, do you guys have friends like that? Is that just a me thing? Where it's like, I love seeing you in person, you're one of my favorite people, but like, we just don't click when we're like, I don't like texting you, I don't like these things, I just like kind of like talking to you as a person, you know? And now it's almost like if you say that though, that's a really fast way to lose a friend. Like, and I'm not acting like I'm impervious to this. If somebody came up to me and was like, hey, I don't want your number, I can only talk to you in person, I can't handle you over the internet, I'd be like, fuck this guy, you know? Like I'd be like, okay, so you're not my friend. And like, it's such a weird thing because it's like, no, like, that doesn't matter, right? So I think that's like a huge thing, is like the internet has made us focus on all these things that don't matter and forget so much of what does matter. I think this is also just as like, you know, like when back in like the days of like, I don't know, the early 1900s, whatever, when things sucked at your job or something, like on like, you were working in a factory, you could talk to everyone and like, be like, let's work together to fix this issue, right? Nowadays, like, what do? Do you like hop in the Slack workspace DMs and be like, folks, we're gonna fix this problem? Like, no, I feel like it's even like the way that we, like, I'm not trying to say factory work is the most fulfilling work. I think that's pretty alienating already. Famously, a lot of people said that back then. But I mean, doing Excel spreadsheets over a Slack workspace and hopping on a Zoom call to get torn up by your boss is not it's not an improvement. That's a huge downgrade. I would take like, I don't know actually, because I mean, things were pretty bad back then too, but I would take an in-person job over that any day. You know, it sucks. It really does. So I think like looking at these things, I'm like, yeah, no, like let's press that button. But at the same time, all my like seems so trivial in comparison to those large things I just mentioned. All my favorite movies I found because of the internet. You wouldn't be watching this if this wasn't for the internet. That's awesome. Like, this is awesome that this is happening right now. There is no reality in which I could do this and like make any sort of, like, nobody would watch this if there was no internet. There would be nowhere to even put it, would there? What would I put it onto like VHS tapes and try and give it to the local library in hopes that somebody wants to rent it out on a whim, right? Like, I'd have to do this in a completely different way. It wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't, right? So like, there are ways in which I'm like, no, this is awesome. I mean, think of like, even my favorite movie ever is Yi by Edward Yang, right? That's my favorite movie. Totally watch it if you haven't watched it already, by the way. Y-I, it's spelled. Just go in blind, it's the best movie ever. It will destroy you, it'll like put you back together all at the same time. Craziest thing I've ever watched, right? That is, I wanna say Taiwanese. I think it's a Taiwanese film. There is no reality in which I stumble across a Taiwanese film if it wasn't for the internet. And like, that's so great. And like, even then, like, let's say, you know, let's say I, do somehow in like, I don't know, what would I find it in, like a magazine in the 80s. I was able to find my way to Yi, right, as a film. I would have to go on a whole quest to like try and seek out where I can watch this thing, like go through all these hoops, and I probably would never watch it. And like, in that way, I feel like that's even a double-edged sword though, right? That's the whole thing with the culture aspect of this and like pop culture and these things I really enjoy, is like, on the one hand, I'd get less things and I'd have a much smaller window. Like now, whenever I want to watch a movie, I just search up like, literally just go like best movies, and I'll watch anything, any language, usually just dictated by like its runtime and where I can watch it, right? Like, that's awesome, and it's probably given me a higher average quality of movies that I've watched because I have that and the internet to do that, right? So I wouldn't have that if there was no internet, but since I had less things and it was all happening kind of around me and I had to find it more naturally, I probably appreciate these things a little bit more. Maybe I'd watch one foreign film a year if I could get my hands on. Maybe I find a club. I know there are clubs here that do like foreign screenings. So let's say I join one of those. Even I'm probably still not going to be able to like actively interact with this stuff as much, but I'd appreciate it more because there's less of it. Instead of watching a movie and go, wow, that was awesome, and kind of never thinking about it again, maybe I'd see a movie and think about it forever because, it's more of an experience if there's no internet and a large, widespread way to do it. I think, though, the optimal answer would probably be not to press the button or not press the button. I think it's probably in the middle, as most things are. I think the right answer would more likely be to, okay, let's say like I was just I could do anything I wanted, right? Like I was omnipotent, is that it? Whatever it's called. I'd probably just assemble like the smartest people and be like smartest like communication professionals, like sociologists, whatever, and be like, okay, find how to do communication over the internet like perfectly. Like destroy this and just make it the good parts. And I'd say the right answer is probably to rebuild it so you can get the pros without the con. But I mean, that's kind of a BS answer to this question, isn't it? Would I press the button or not is kind of the, like, I hate when I don't want to come with a secret third option. Would I press this button? I really think I've grown up, I've lived only in a world with the internet. I don't think I could resist pressing that button just because I want to see what it's like on the other side. I've grown up my whole life hearing stories, and I mean, more or less a romanticized version of reality of like how cool things were before the internet from everyone older than me. Literally every single person older than me has gone like, you don't know how great things were before the internet, right? Is a lot of that probably nostalgia because they're old now and they're thinking of times when they were young? Yeah, definitely. Like, that totally makes sense. But undoubtedly, there's got to be something there. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way all these people are just thinking nostalgically. So yeah, I think I would press the button. I don't think I could resist I think curiosity would make me press the button. I think things would be better because I think on a social, I don't know, because there's a lot of social large-scale ways in which the internet's good too. Like, as much as it spreads a ton of misinformation, it also spreads a ton of information. Like, I think I'm smarter because of the internet, because I've been able to just search up things and how many books have I found on really dense academic subjects I've read because of the internet. And I mean, think of how many people across the world. I think I'm a small example of that. Like, I've probably read maybe 50 to 100 books, like, because of the internet, where I'm like, wow, I'm like, that was a great book, right? Think of how many people, I mean, that are 5 to 6 years older than me, they probably read thousands of books because of this. Like, that's insane. Some people, there are probably some like world-class thinkers just because of the internet now, So like, that's a huge plus too. I don't know, I stand that I would press this button because I think I couldn't resist not pressing it. I think there's a solid chance though things are equally good and equally bad after I press the button. Like, I think it'd almost be just as much of a trade-off with and without it. I don't know though. I think after finishing that discussion, I think I have a ton of blind spots in there. I think somebody's gonna come with a better answer than me. So totally comment your answer down below. You pressing that red button or no? This is the painting. It's the same thing as yesterday, but a cube. I thought a cube would look way cooler. It's not wide enough though. But it looks cool. I think it looks cool. Again, like, this is the last time I'm doing this. I mean, like, once again, it came out more or less how I imagined in my head. It's cool. It's a 3D thing. A huge improvement from the cube I painted back in Paint&Talk 4. I haven't tried a cube since. So cool to do some between today and yesterday. I think that's awesome. I mean, like, I don't need to be playing around with gray tone cubes more than I have. It's a cube, and go check it out on the Instagram. And until next time, Guys, gals, and pals, my name is Max Dice. This has been Paint and Talk episode 99. I'll see you tomorrow morning for Paint and Talk episode 100.